patch on your eye.
You look like a parate.
That's what I was going to say. Dude, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
What's going on, you saints and sinners? Welcome to Confessions of a DIY Musician. We are your hosts, Marina City. I am singer Ryan Argast. I am joined by Eric Summers-Araya, who plays drums, and Toda Brunijiv, who plays guitar in the band Marina City. This is a podcast that if you are a musician, you may like, because we are going to talk about all the things to become successful as a DIY independent musician. And if you are just a fan of our band Marina City, you'll enjoy this podcast as well, because we are just talking about the daily lives, the daily behind-the-scene things as a musician in the band Marina City. So sit back, relax, grab some popcorn, get your favorite drink, and let us serenade your ear holes for a little bit longer as we talk for the next 30 minutes on why you are so rude when you come to shows. We didn't actually think of what the title was until we did this.
Dude, you just got possessed. Are
I
you
know.
okay? you're super
Halloween.
rude at shows.
Yeah.
This is for the bands or the
you
fans?
suck at
Both.
show etiquette. This is probably what we'll call it.
I'm
You
gonna
have
go ahead and
terrible
start
show
here.
etiquette.
You have how about that? You have terrible show etiquette. That's probably what this
Yeah.
is. That's what this show is
real.
going to be called.
Yeah.
All right, welcome to Confessions of a DIY Musician. This episode is You Have Terrible Show Etiquette.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I'm gonna start it off here.
Give it to me, Toast.
Rule number one, probably the cardinal rule here: don't fucking put drinks on stage.
Oh, I fucking hate this.
When they put drinks on stage, it's not only, I mean, if it spills over, there goes my $3,000 rig. You know what I mean?
Hold on. Can we back up a second?
Yeah.
Is they the crowd or other bands?
Ooh, both.
Both. I'm more so speaking for the crowd, because I've seen numerous times there's a drink chilling next to my pedal, my Kemper pedal. And it's like, when I'm in the middle of a show, I don't want to be thinking about whose drink is around me. I don't want to be thinking about that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I when I even play in the wedding band,
Yeah.
people oftentimes will put drinks on the subwoofer, and I love to jump on the subwoofer and like dance and sing into the crowd, and I will go on that and I'll just start kicking it.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck you. I fucking hate
Straight
that
up.
when they even have signs that say do not put drinks on here. And then on top of that, like you just said, it could destroy their equipment. I will say this episode is going to be put into two parts. One, it's going to be about musicians, and then if you are a fan, we're going to talk a little bit about some stuff that has made us uncomfortable at times that we would like to see a little bit better.
But also how to deal with with uncomfortable
situations.
interactions.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, right now we are talking a little bit about the firsthand about musician stuff, and I still believe the musicians do this shit all the time. Back in the day, we had our in-ear monitor system rack that we call Yavcho. If you ever hear at a show like Yavcho, we just named it because it's a human.
Shout
out, yeah. But oftentimes we'll just like find a drink on there by the band before us or whatever the case is.
I just want to preface this: our in-ear rack is like it's what? It's like a 3 foot tall, 4 foot tall box
Yeah.
that's filled with, like, no joke, like $10,000 worth of
not
equipment,
more.
electrical equiment inside of it.
Yeah.
It's
So when you put that, or just an amp,
our
when
prized
you
possession.
put amps and when you put drinks on an amp or anything like that on stage, first of all, oftentimes there are so many bands that are going on stage. I mean, just the other day we were playing a show where we had to backline, and it was already really small for us to be on there.
Yeah.
And then you got some person who decides they're going to put their drink. We're all there. It's just so easy to kick it over and share all the stuff. So
I mean,
don't put
that's
drinks on stage.
It's like serious stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's like fighting words. Like if someone's drink spills on my stuff, that's no
it's a
bueno.
problem.
I mean, that's how Dave Mustaine got kicked out of Metallica. You know, his drink spilled all over James's
actually didn't
amp,
know that.
and then they got in a fight, and he was out. You know,
Yeah, I think the big stipulation here is, at least particularly for musicians, because if you're playing a show, and a lot of times like the bands on the rest of the bill will be backlined. So for you, those who don't know, it just means that all the other band's equipment is on stage, and then throughout the night everyone kind of sets up in front. Like if you're a musician, I think my rule of thumb is just no open containers. Like
Yes.
obviously you want to
Yeah.
be hydrated on stage.
for sure. Yeah,
Like, dude,
Closed container, no problem.
I just as a little anecdote I screwed up. I typically have like a Yeti, whatever, for water on stage. And then for this one show, I was on tour recently, and this one show I didn't have it for. I think I accidentally left it in the van or whatever, and the van was too far away. So I got open container cups of water and put them next to my drums. Dude, so dumb. So dumb. And like middle of the set, I break a stick and I'm just going to throw it away. Just kind of toss it over my shoulder. And guess where that drumstick landed? Directly on top of those open containers of water. Spilled it all over the stage. And I was God, I literally never do this. Yeah. And then immediately I do it and I go, this is why I don't. This is exactly why I don't do it. And I let it happen.
Yeah.
Fortunately, it didn't spill on anyone's stuff except for my drum rug. But it's so annoying to just walk on stage and the stage is wet.
And one more pet peeve of mine, drinks, from fans, drinks on merch tables. Yes. Like that's another thing that's our merch.
Do not put your drink on your merch table.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize how important
they don't. Yeah, they don't. And this is why we're bringing this to light is because I understand where they come from, where they're just kind of like mindlessly setting their drink down, not really thinking much about it. But when there's other people that are drunk around you, shit happens. The table gets knocked over. It's not a sturdy table. The drink spills, and then there goes our facade of merch.
Yeah. Yeah, no one wants to buy a shirt that smells like vodka.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and also, it's just like we're trying to sell something, and you got to make and it's going to be a whole episode about why your merch sucks, and we'll talk about that. But, we want to make that merch table look as nice as possible, and having a bunch of drinks on it is terrible. So, but you didn't just come here just to learn about our disdain for drinks on stage and merch.
Open containers.
Open containers. Open containers.
Yeah.
But
I like that better. Yeah.
We'll talk more about, as musicians, what you should do to make everyone in the venue love you, to win over the venue. Because when you win over the venue, not only are they going to make sure that you have the perfect show, but they're going to ask you to come back. And that's the whole point, is that you want to keep touring. So
rule number one in trying to win over a venue is don't have open containers.
On stage. Yeah. But the big thing is show up at load-in time. I know this is super simple, and I feel like we shouldn't even have to say this, but how often does this happen that we have to wait for our band to load up on stage because we're waiting for them to get on stage before that, or trying to parking situation or whatever, the show's going to get backed on because someone is not here on time. So get here on time, and if you're not going to get there on time, something's going on, call the venue, tell them something's up.
Yeah, that open line of communication exists for a reason.
It goes a long way.
I will say, in our defense, we are tragically overcompensating normally. So usually load in times 5, we're there at 4. So sometimes sometimes it's our fault, but but no, it's really true though. Like load in time's such a big aspect. Like I do a lot of gigs outside of Marina City, and I have played gigs where I've been playing with the opening band, and I'm set up on stage, doors are about to open, and the rest of the band literally is not there yet.
Yeah.
That has happened, unfortunately, more than once. Be responsible. Do what you're going to say. Do what they tell you to do. Ask you to do.
Yeah. So when you get there, there's a couple different things. We'll talk about the load-in situation. So it's important that you go in one spot of the venue. You find a spot that you can put your stuff at, and when you come into the venue, try to bring all your boxes and your cases and your equipment all in one spot. Try to keep it condensed as much as possible. You're not the only band that's playing. You're not the only thing that's even in there. Make sure that it's not in any way for like the food people or the bartenders to get in the way of. So you get that, and you kind of set up there, and you have your own little station that you set up all your equipment at. And then when you're done with all your equipment, find a place to put your deads. And when we talk about deads, that's open case containers. That is nothing in your case anymore that needs to go.
Containers.
Not containers. Yeah, all the boxes that all your equipment came in. That's what your deads
Bring it back into your car, bring it back into the van, bring it into like a section that, oftentimes you can ask the venue, where can I put the deads? And when you say that, they're going to be like, oh, I know what that means. And you can go in this corner and you can put all your cases over there. Yeah. But for the most part, get those deads and everything out of the way of everyone. You have your stuff set up off stage. And oftentimes the way we set up our stuff is the way that we're going to set up on stage. So like we'll have the keyboard all set up and the microphone literally all put together exactly. So when I have to put up the keyboard and the microphone because Toter plays that position, but he's doing something else, I can put it up and it's already set up. There's nothing else that I need to do. Need to fit the microphone stand in a certain way. Same thing with the drums. You stage the drums. That's what we call it, staging the drums. So you have the drums all set up as if you were going to play in that exact spot. So when you go up on stage, every single person that's going to help Eric set up his drums already knows where each part is going to be because it literally is all formed already off stage.
My drum rug is all marked up.
Drum rug is all marked up. So having a section in the venue that you put all your stuff at, that you know that is an appropriate place, taking all your deads out, having all your equipment staged, your guitars out and on a stand, your amps all plugged up, so you're just picking it up and putting it on stage. All that will go a super, super long way. Yeah. Anything else to add to that before we talk about the green room?
I'd say once we do that pre-stage setup, and once it's time for you to go on stage for sound check, once you're done with sound check, at least I would put things to the side. For example, I'd face my keyboard towards the wall instead of leaving it in the middle of the stage where we would play. Yeah. I would move my amp and my guitar to the corner, just so to kind of consolidate everything and give a chance to the other artist that's coming up on stage so they can properly set up as well.
This is just a nice thing that is probably a subject for debate, but like if you're a headliner, striking your equipment. Like in my opinion, unless you are bringing your own light rig and like a crazy staging setup, just strike your drums. Yeah. Strike your equipment. Let the opening bands use the drum riser. Like just strike your stuff. Leave room for everybody else.
If you're listening to this podcast, chances are you're not big enough to keep your equipment up there. Yeah. So just take your drums off.
I mean, and listen, would I love to just walk on stage and all my drums are set up? Yes. But I know what it's like to set up in front of 8 drum kits and then Ryan's got about 2 inches of room at the front of the stage to sing. Like it's not fun, and I don't want to subject anybody else to that. Just strike your drums, put them back. It's fine. It's not a big deal. Unless the sound person tells me explicitly, I need you to leave your stuff up there because of microphone reasons. That's the only reason I'm going to leave my stuff up there.
Yep. You know, oftentimes though, the sound person or the band members, they'll be like, you only have 15-minute changeovers. And 15-minute changeovers are more than enough to be ready to get your drums on there and drums on and off. If you cannot do that within 15 minutes, then you need to go listen to our past episodes or that we talk about how to rehearse, because you need to rehearse how to get your stuff on and off, because it's just 15 minutes. I can't tell you how many times we've heard, you guys, I don't know if you can do all this if you only have 15 minutes. Get everything ready off stage. Our entire in-ear monitor system is all ready. Literally, even we scan our packs. And if you don't know what that necessarily means, just like wireless packs so that we can make sure that we hear correctly, you have to scan them. We scan the packs. We do everything off stage. So then when we get on stage, we're just putting it on there, we're plopping it where it needs to go, and we're ready to start rocking and rolling.
Plug and play pretty much.
It's basically plug and play right from there. Get everything as moving as possible. So, and if you're going to share someone's equipment, like you're sharing, so like, I don't feel like I need to talk about that too much, but you're sharing someone else's equipment. Be cool.
All right, this is another thing on gear sharing. Figure it out beforehand.
Yes.
Do not show up to the show expecting to use somebody else's gear. You know, if there's 8 drummers on a bill, this is 2023. We can all find each other on social media. Let's start a group chat. Whose drum kit are we using? Are we using one person's drum
message
kit
before the show?
Totally
goes a long way.
I personal anecdote, I don't love gear sharing, but I really hate surprise gear sharing. That's the worst. If I have packed my drums and dragged them across multiple states and only to find out that I'm gonna use somebody else's stuff, dude.
Or
I always feel bad for you,
that
man.
we travel and then the local band is like, we didn't bring our drum set. Can we just use yours? And we're like, bro, I had to pack all this shit up, and you live 20 minutes away. You can bring your drums. I hate that.
The many times you've been asked, at the show.
Almost all the time.
It's the percentage is incredible.
I think one guy even said, "I don't even like our drums. Can we use yours?" What was that?
Our drum kit is in shambles, is what he said
Yes.
to us.
Our drum kit's in shambles. We like yours.
Can we use yours?
No.
Yeah, that's not a great way to ask somebody if you're good. Hey, I broke all my stuff. Can I use your stuff?
Yeah.
Just bring
That's
your
not a good way to.
bring your stuff. Get it all ready, and get 15 minutes is more than plenty of time. And we're really lucky now. We don't have a bass player. We don't have a guitar player that uses an amp.
Yep.
So like no one can even share our shit anymore.
Yeah.
Anyways, our drum set is all hybrid.
And look, I don't want it to sound. I don't mean to sound like. Look, we hate sharing.
I don't
and
like
like
sharing.
people are annoying and just be professional, everybody. But it's mostly just like the extra level that actually annoys me is just the lack of communication about sharing. It's, like I said, it's 2023. We can find everybody really easily.
Yeah.
Like let's just have a conversation about it beforehand, so we know what to expect before we get into the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree.
All right, we're going to break for our sponsor real quick. So our sponsor for the Confessions of a DIY Musician is marinacityband.com. Yes, you heard it here, folks. If you go to marinacityband.com, you can get merchandise. We have a bunch of cool things on there all year round. And of course, we're always running sales. So make sure you go and get yourself something nice. Treat yourself at marinacityband.com for your merchandise needs. Also on marinacityband.com, you're going to be able to find stuff like our music videos, our new songs, our shows. The next time we're playing shows, and of course, getting our podcast right there as well. And, you know, the things that probably the most important stuff is that our Discord is right on marinacityband.com. If you're familiar with Discord, if you have a Discord, we encourage you to join our Discord because it has a lot of cool it has a lot of cool people that created an awesome community all across the world. People who listen to the band, who listen to music similar to you, who have are photographers and musicians and have dogs that they want to share photos of, and it's just a really cool space to vent. It's a really cool space to talk about your accomplishments. It's a really cool community. We're really proud of being part of it. So make sure that you go to our Discord at Marina City Discord. It's called The Simulation. You can check it out on all of our social media and at marinacityband.com. And lastly, but not leastly, you definitely want to make sure that you text us at 815-406-6209. That's 815-406-6209. And that we are always texting everyone where we're playing, where a new song is coming out before everyone else. So it's a really great way to be able to connect with us before we even post it on social media. So you guys know where to connect with us. That is our sponsor, and we'll see you guys on the other side. So
I like it.
the other stuff that
You're really just gonna gloss over that, huh?
It's not like the other stuff that we're talking about here.
let's talk a little bit about the green room. And I want to talk about the green room. I want to talk about merch setup, about etiquette as well. So green room etiquette. The first thing you really want to notice too. What you want to say?
I want to jump in.
Okay,
on the
go.
first thing about green room.
It's never green.
Where do your backpacks go?
All right, I knew this was gonna go. This is where we were gonna go with it. So first things first, we were bad at green room etiquette as well for a long period of time.
I think everyone's guilty of this. This is just like I don't know what it is.
Well, we were a 6-piece band too. You got to remember too. So we were a big ass band. We would just walk right in. We used to call it the MC spread. We would literally get into a green room and throw all of our shit everywhere. And we're just like, what the fuck? Now we're older, and we try
have
to
more respect.
condense that a
We've
little bit more.
experienced bands doing the MC spread to us.
Yeah, and we're
Yeah.
just like, yo, this sucks. So backpacks. Everyone brings a backpack. Backpacks. And the old members of the band, if they're going to be listening to this, which I'm sure they're not, but if they do, they're going to be like, I can't believe Ryan is saying this.
Mm-hmm.
But I've grown. Backpacks are not needed on sofas and on chairs and on anything, tables.
Chairs are for your butts.
Chairs are for your booties.
The amount of time I've
So are
gone
sofas.
into a green room and there's nowhere to sit because everybody's backpack is
on a
on,
chair.
on
Fucking
chairs
backpack
and
city over
sofas.
And sofas.
Dude, put it on the floor.
Put it on the floor. Put the backpack on the floor. Put it in a section, and make sure that your band just has their own little section in the green room. Like, and what I mean by that is like you find a section that most of the time you're gonna have to share it with other bands. So make sure there's like one spot where all of you guys are at, probably around at least one outlet, so that you guys can all kind of share it.
Yeah.
Make sure that you guys
don't
have.
steal all the outlets in the green
Do
room.
not steal. Yeah, make sure you guys have a shared power plug. you know, a butt plug, stuff like
Extension
that.
cord. What?
And
Sorry,
then
wait,
see-
whoa, whoa.
Shared butt plugs? Do those even exist?
Dude,
Probably, honestly.
Ryan's dreaming.
Yeah.
I just feel like it'd be like
Have
human
your own.
centipede, the opposite. Like, have your own. Always have your own.
I'm so glad we got that on video.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Keep you on your toes. If you're not listening, hopefully you're awake now.
We got your attention now.
Yeah.
But yeah, find one wall outlet for your band to kind of conglomerate
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, get a little power strip action. You know, keep it tidy. Don't, you know, bring a bunch of food and then leave garbage everywhere.
Yes.
Clean up after yourself.
If you go ahead and take a number 2, you know, do the poo-poos,
Yep.
you're going to have to close the door.
If you're
Don't
gonna
keep that shit open,
if you're
man.
gonna shower, you know, like all those things, just clean up. You know, like you're in a community area with a bunch of people.
Yeah.
It's not just you guys.
Yeah,
Also-
they literally don't. It's not a hotel room. They don't have maids
Yeah.
or janitors to clean up.
They don't
after
even
you.
want to have a green room to
Not
begin with.
that you should,
most
you
of
know,
the
leave
times.
a mess for maids and janitors
Yeah.
either. But you know, like it's just some person who's probably working the door that's
Yeah.
going to clean up after you. So don't give them a lot of stuff to clean up.
Ooh,
Right.
And another pro tip, if there is a jacuzzi in the green room, do not use it. Do not use it.
If
What
guys
did
have-
you do?
There was one in St. Louis. It was
Yeah.
really funny. They didn't have a shower. They had a jacuzzi.
They
Is
just
the
had a
jacuzzi
jacuzzi there.
nicer than you found?
yeah.
Yeah. It was like a jacuzzi in a closet or something.
Yeah,
it was so weird.
Yeah, it was weird. I've showered once or twice maybe I've actually a few times, but I try not to. But sometimes I think it's kind of cool, so I just want to say that I did.
Yeah.
But I know that we did it in Pittsburgh when we needed to and stuff like
Didn't
that.
we do it at the rave in Milwaukee? Or
Hell
did
yeah,
we think
I'm sure.
about doing
I
it?
showered in the rave in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
We did like different stuff in there. But yeah, ultimately make sure. And then if you do have a writer, no one gives a fuck about it. So,
Yeah.
but the one thing, if you're going to bring a writer or if you're going to bring up a thing on before the show, write something that you guys need. Hey, are you guys doing food or drinks on this? Yeah. Is there any kind of vegan options that we can have? Can you guys have water bottles back there? Maybe towels or something like that. But you know, at the end of the day, if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably not a big enough band to really demand a lot. So just make sure that the things that you really need are present and ask for the things that you need.
Water.
Case of water
That's
is what
all
you need. That's really all you need. You need cases of water.
Case of water,
They'll give you some
$20
beer. Yeah. Like honestly, if they give you, sometimes a lot of people just like give me the money instead of the food, but we like to eat the food. Usually we like to have local food. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
and make sure you tell all the band members that there's food happening and like Toter's actually really lucky because Eric and I don't drink. So when we get drink tickets,
It's all me,
Toter,
baby.
it's all
Yeah.
toast.
You already know. Want to grab a drink with me? I'll give you a drink ticket because these guys don't drink.
Yeah,
So
I guess that's true.
holla at your boy.
Holla at your boy. But ultimately, just remember that you're not the only person there. And so I think the last thing I want to talk about is merch etiquette.
I do want to mention one thing that
Yeah.
we did mention this in our sound check episode, but learn everybody's names.
Yeah, as much as possible.
Sound person's name. Learn all the venue staff that you're gonna interact with.
Yeah.
Learn their names. It's just a nice thing to be like, hey, thank you, Jess. Thank you,
Yeah.
Steven. Whatever. At the end of the night,
Yeah.
we appreciate you having us. Just to have that personal connection is, I think, it just goes the extra mile for
Yeah.
people to be like, okay, cool. That band.
It matters, and they notice that. You know,
Yeah.
they notice that stuff. And again, it's you're more likely to get a callback.
Yeah, we wanted that call back. And then oftentimes I'll send an email afterwards if I've booked with it before, or reach out afterwards and just say thank you so much for having us again. Just keep that contact going is always really great. Yeah, it was all great places. And lastly, so merch etiquette. So a couple things. There's different things that can happen with the merch table. Sometimes you have to share a merch table, and sometimes you can have your own. Typically, the headliner is going to have the best spot, and that's probably going to be where the most traffic is going to be, whether that's closer to the stage or whatever. So make sure when you get there at a show, you kind of find out where the headliner wants to set up their merchandise. Once you kind of figure that out, then you can kind of figure out your merchandise from there.
Also, pro tip: set up as close to the headliner as you can.
Yes, typically do that. But again, if you are like the opening band and getting on that, it's like just know that it probably is going to go the way that the show where if the headliner is playing, then after that it's probably the direct support, and then after that kind of goes down. If you're an opener, you're probably the farthest. But the one thing that I will say is make sure that you guys are in the same area as much as you possibly can, and then if what we do with merchandise, and this is going to be a whole merch episode on this podcast series. But one thing I will talk about is when you're sharing a merch table, something that we have that really helps a lot is that we have these, we call them grates, but basically they're just like shelves from a closet that you just bring, and we put them up on the wall, and then we hang our merchandise off of that. And the reason why that's great is for two reasons. One, it's because people can see your merchandise higher up across the venue. It's not just on a table that's flat. They can actually see it raised up and be like, oh, there's a shirt over there or that hoodie over there. It looks really cool. And two, if you are sharing a table, that's less things that are on a table and more things on the wall so that you can have more room with your other band that you're sharing with. Because, I mean, now you're going to bring totes over there and stuff like that. So you really want to make sure that you can save some space for everybody.
Well, I'll also say, like, just having your own grates and your own table helps you not have to battle the other bands for space and, you know, things.
Yeah, oftentimes the venue will be like, here's a table, and it's like literally the smallest table, and it's like, oh, okay. And so we always bring our own table. And again, that we'll save more of that for the merchandise episode. But for the most part, when it comes to show etiquette stuff, I feel like, you know, just be a kind human. Talk to everyone. Oh, get there at showtime and do not leave until showtime is over. Watch all the bands. And now look, man, it's tough when, like, sometimes I don't always get to see the openers because I'm warming up. If I'm a headliner, typically we try not to be a disturbance for the opening bands. And if we're going to watch the band, we try to watch it on side stage or in the back of the venue, because what we don't want to happen is take a bunch of photos or sign different autographs or whatever when the other band's playing. And that's even if we're an opener too. We'll oftentimes have Toter go sell, and we talked about this in previous episodes. Toter will go sell while Eric and I will like finish up setting, like breaking down all the merchandise, all the equipment off stage. And then when the show is over or in between sets, we'll go in and go to the merch table and then hang out with everyone and take photos and videos and everything else. But when a band is playing, do not be by the merch table and doing all those things. Don't take away from the other band's performances.
Don't be a distraction. But I do think, like you said, try and watch the other bands. I think we generally try and follow the 3-song rule, which is like watch 3 songs of every band on the bill.
Yeah.
At least some people in the band, like have some representative of the band be able to watch some of it and actually just be like, have a presence there. It goes a long way.
Post about them, shout out. You know, same thing for promoting the show too. Shout out the other bands on the bill.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We're all in this together.
Yep.
Yeah. And then at the end of it, like connect with them. You know, I just talked to the headliner the other night, this morning, like all the members of the band. Yeah. We were just talking to them and they send their blessings and stuff like that and just like goodwills and you know, good lucks.
Yeah, and it's not even like a networking, like how can I use this person? It's just like a friendly human thing. We're all in this together.
It's a tough thing.
All just building up the community.
Yeah, we're all doing this crazy thing, and we're kindred spirits.
Yeah, I think that someone said one time, you know, like when you're a band and you see another band and you're just like, wow, that band's doing a really cool thing. They're playing this festival I really want to do. And this person is playing this sold-out show I really want to do. Like, we're all just working. All of us are like, oh my God, I want to do that. I need to get to that. Everyone is like slugging through. And so it's really important that we just try to pick each other up as much as possible.
Yeah.
So that's about all the time we have for this episode. We were going to talk a little bit more about like the fans and that, but maybe that's another episode
that
too.
Could be another episode.
I guess so.
That's these bite-sized episodes when we only do about 30 minutes. So if you have things that you want to hear from us, if you have topics you want us to talk about, please hit us up. You can email us at thecrush@marinacityband.com for all of like just like connecting with us and different kind of questions you want to talk about with the podcast or stuff like that. Maybe we'll make an email specifically for this, but our fan email right now is thecrush@marinacityband.com. But if you're looking to book us for shows, for your backyard, for your wedding, for your best friend's party, or just like a regular show, if you're a venue owner of anything like that, hit us up at management@marinacityband.com. We'll hit you guys up. If you want to book us for a speaking at your show or a live podcast episode too, we are more than down to do that as well. We do teach at colleges and high schools and middle schools and do inspirational speaking. So anyways, we have been Marina City. We'll be Marina City once more, and then more after that, and more after that, and more after that, forever. And this is the Confessions of a DIY Musician. Bye-bye.
Toodles.
Bye-bye.